I was at secondary modern school where O-levels were unheard of, and I think it was an opportunity at 13 to go to school that not only gave you a trade, but also gave you the opportunity to do these wonderful things called O-levels. I think just walking into the dormitory, Dorm 6 and 7, was a bit daunting as a 13-year-old. There was this room of, 30 boys, and being confronted with my iron bedstead and my wooden locker that all my worldly goods had to go into, thinking I was in the middle of nowhere, learning how to make a bed, making bed packs, and the getting up early and the freezing cold washing facilities. It was great fun. I was surprised I didn't feel more homesick. I certainly settled in very quickly, and I found a few people I knew from my school and a lot of people I knew anyway, making new friends and all in it together, really. Being got up at 7 o'clock in the morning to run around the paddock wasn't fun for talking after lights out, but that's different. You know.
I think Adcroft just made me into the person I was going to be for the rest of my life. I think teaching us to do all the things that we had to do, all the regimental stuff, actually made you grow tremendously. I was very much a little boy when I went there and came back, hopefully out a man at the end of it.
My name's Ray Pearson. I was there as a student from 1950-53, and I went back as a teacher of plumbing in 60 to 66. Going back as a teacher gave me a different insight totally to the school. We had a different attitude for the students when you were a student. And when they came in, one thing about everybody, they were willing to work. And as a teacher, I found that even more so. Everybody wanted to learn. I found that the school, in fact, did more than just teach. It also taught people how to live.
It was like an adventure in many ways. I was failing very badly at my secondary modern school, and my parents needed to kick up the arse, basically. And they thought Adcroft was the ideal place to send me. I did not do very well academically, but I learned a lot in other ways about life, about living with other people, doing things, and working as a team a lot of the time, because every morning you're up, you had to clean the dormitories with the bumpers, move the beds, every morning.
I'm Tony James. I was a teacher at Adcroft School from 1963 to when it closed in 1971. I taught maths, and I was senior resident for most of that time. Adcroft gave them such a broad education, really. I mean, I'd love to have learnt some of the trades because I can't do anything. I get my son to put up a wall or a fence. I can't do anything. So I would have liked to have gone there, and I'd have liked to send my children there. It was a great school to start. The discipline was so easy. I can tell you, the lights went out at 9:30, and at 9:45 there was silence. And these are kids from 13 to 18 or 17. I don't know if you'd better get away with it now, no, really. But it was so easy. The prefects did a good job. The headmaster was very strong, and I had a great time.
Well, girls used to come from the Victoria Institute, which was acronyms of the VI, and they were wonderful. Well, they were girls. It was like sort of cheapers. We've been all boys in an all-boys boarding school for several years, and then you introduce this other species of highly desirable. God, yeah, I'm having hot flushes now at the age of 66. But anyway, yes, it was fantastic. It was the girls were good, generally good eggs, took things in pretty good spirit, really, and we were all clumsy and rough diamonds, really.
It was a ballroom dancing evening. Every boy used to go there smart and all spend so much time washing and cleaning those evenings, so you looked the best. Just for the dance lessons as a Wednesday evening, I think it was, ballroom dancing.
I used to go into the rec room when the others went to assembly because I was a Roman Catholic, and subsequently I became quite good at table tennis. And I did, in the third year, we used to play in the West Wilts Table Tennis League. I think probably only about Division 3 or something, and I was in the 3 that used to, top team, the A team. We had a B team as well, but I think I had my colours at that as well.
In the carpentry we used, obviously, all the old hand tools in those days, which nobody today would ever think about using, I don't think, and that was very difficult to get it square from vertical to horizontal. You had to do these planes, and also when you laid bricks, it was always frog up, boy, frog up, don't lay 'em frog down. The frog being the indentation in the top of the brick, which you fill with mortar when you lay it out.
I went thinking I was going to be a carpenter, and I found that getting things exactly right didn't suit me. in plumbing you could always knock the corners back into place, so I went to plumbing.
You've got to remember, at the age of 13 when we went there, basically we knew nothing about the building, or I certainly knew nothing about the building trade. So it was a bit alien when someone come along and said, well, you saw this bit of wood up and you planed this, always keep your fingers behind the cutting edge. And I think, blimey, I never thought of things like that. And as you walked around, you go out into the yard, and although, say you were doing carpentry, at break time you'd be in the yard and you'd be seeing what the brickies had done. And then you'd walk around the plaster and you could see what the plastering had done. You think, oh, I'll be doing that in a year's time or later on this year. And I'm very interested now in architecture, and a lot of times Susie and I, we go around churches and we're looking at old medieval, early English churches, and you wonder at the arches that they're doing. And what we were doing at Adcroft was no different. Plastering or stone walling or arches, the techniques were the same. You put it in perspective when you look at the film, realise that we were doing nothing that the Romans and the Greeks had been doing for thousands of years beforehand, Saxons, whatever. Yeah. I think Adcroft gave me a second chance in my academic life, because I previously went to a boarding school which is very strict in Twickenham. So after I failed my 11 plus, I was given a chance to go to Adcroft, and to me, after coming from this regime into Adcroft, it was really heaven.
Boarding at Adcroft, it helped you. You learnt things, you learnt different skills, you learnt how to interact with people, how to talk to people. So I think, yes, it sort of set you up for life.
I was really a mummy's boy when I started, very homesick for the first year, and after that, once you got stuck in, you forgot all about that. And it gave me a confidence to go on and do other things. I went to further education college afterwards. That was like being on a holiday camp after Adcroft, I have to say. But yes, it gave us the confidence to go and do whatever you wanted, really.